SpaceX. Q2 was a really interesting quarter for SpaceX. I mean, they started off on the front foot. The Pentagon replaced ULA, their longtime leading provider of security missions launches, was replaced. SpaceX is now the favorite and has the majority of contracts. The company is printing money. They've been really tight-lipped publicly about their financials, but Musk came out on social media and said that they're making almost $16 billion in revenue, which is larger than NASA's budget. Google, parent Alphabet, had an $8 billion markup in their financials based on their investment, their 2015 investment in space. So you can see investors making a lot of money. I think most conversations have focused on the fallout, the very high profile, very public fallout between Musk and Trump, which could impact SpaceX's access to government programs like the Golden Dome initiative, which is proposed and is starting to come together. So, unfortunately, I think that for all that momentum that we saw in the first part of the quarter, I think a lot of the focus is on that and also on Starship, which, had a couple of mishaps, FAA class mishaps in Q2, which brings, the mishaps to 4 consecutive in 2025, right? So I think we expected to see Starship, based on the progress they were making, it looked like, even as soon as last year, that it was going to come online and be operational mid-2025, but it looks like that's going to take a little bit longer. Maybe that is, things will come together faster and they'll start to work through some of these issues faster and more in line with how we've seen it in the past, now that he's, Musk is done with his time at the White House and is focused more on his companies and SpaceX. We'll have to see how that plays out, but it certainly seems like there is a chink in the armor and an opportunity for competitors to either take a breath or make some moves forward with the company that has, been the dominant player over the last 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, the rapid unscheduled disassemblies that sort of ended the quarter for us, whether it be Starship 36 or SN9, they're clear hiccups, in the company's trajectory. With Mars being such a clear focus and a clear priority for the company to get there, it's sort of making that window feel a little bit farther away. There's still a ton of milestones that need to be hit. They haven't deployed really anything out of the ship while in orbit, need to demonstrate on-orbit refueling. There's still a lot of important technical questions around that. So, while the team and the company has been incredible at productizing and capturing value across multiple market segments, it's really there almost isn't anywhere that SpaceX can't dominate. It does feel like in the last quarter there was a little bit of a hiccup or stutter step, and there's a growing sort of conversation that competition is needed, competition is welcome, competition is a priority. And so, it's going to be really interesting to see how Rocket Lab and Blue and some of these other folks, really ramp up.
It's hard to get your head around how significant this is and what this means, because we've never really been here before, right? Yeah. A program of this size and scale that is doing things so transparently and out in the public, everything is recorded, we're watching everything live, they're bringing us along for the journey. This is definitely a test program, right? So failure is, par for the course. So there's a bit of that. There's a bit of are we just seeing more of it because of how hyper transparent the company is? Because Northrop, I believe, they had a solid engine rocket blow up in Q2. They had a mishap. Yeah. And this is old tested technology, right? That we've been flying for a long time. And so even an incumbent that's been doing it for decades and has a lot of experience and they're flying technology that is known and exists, right? Even that has mishaps, right? So, and then you put that on the scale of Starship and how revolutionary this vehicle is, everything from the materials to the size to the ambitions, everything about it, the full and rapid reusability, all of this is new. So you kind of have to put things into context and think, they tested a lot of the initial systems and they made a lot of progress in the first part of this test program. And then you see they had a rough 6 months. I mean, it's hard to put that into context, I guess is what I'm saying. How significant is that? Is this really a blip, or is it something more systemic that's happening? And it sort of feels like a little bit of cut them a break. But at the same time, I mean, we'd like to see them get back to, it'd be great to see them get back to the pace of progress that they were at, previously.